Hi all, welcome to race number 3 of the F1 My TeamCareer. Now a big heads up right away, some of this footage was corrupted and I've managed to save as much as I can. So big major heads up on that one folks, because as I was going through it all, I was like, really, I had quite a lot of footage to work with. It was going to be initially, say about 30-35 minutes, ended up just with an 18-minute long video, so I've tried to save as much as I can. In the end it was good, but we'll get on with it. But we've got qualifying, we'll slowly show some of the laps from that. Our first lap wasn't the best, but hopefully you enjoy this folks regardless. As there's still a lot of scratchy footage which is, I don't know what's happened. I don't know if there's been like a corruption within the capture card or something like that, but we just get on with it regardless. But we have the qualifying laps that we do try and get ourselves a good, because Vietnam, like, we're all new to it this year, so we don't know really what to expect, but also at the same time the way Vietnam is kind of structured, there's a lot of similar tracks like it. Tracks to me like Sochi, which is still fairly new to a lot of people, but it's still a track that I'm quite not good at, but I've got like okay experience. I see elements of when we used to have Spain, like when it was like the European Grand Prix, that circuit. I can't remember what. It wasn't obviously Catalonia, but it was the it was like the city-based track. I'm trying to remember what one it was classed as. I'd have to. Joys my F1 history kind of failing me when it matters. Elements of that. Then I see elements of, like, say, I think Canada and Hungary I would say as well. There's parts of that as well with like the straights and like the quick turns, and even you could even see Monaco, hints of Monaco in there, because obviously with the tight corners, obviously Monaco you don't necessarily go through them flat out because there's quite a lot of slower elements, but there is elements of Monaco in here as well. You can kind of, if you were to look at it, so you can see what Vietnam's tried to do here. And at the moment though, for our qualifying, we aren't really looking at making Q2. I was prepared for that mainly because this circuit, for when I was doing practice, I wasn't very quick. Mainly just, I thought, right, how can we get the strengths that we have of ourselves? This is one race where when I looked at the calendar, I thought right away, Vietnam, yes, we've done great in Australia and Bahrain, but Vietnam, when I was going through practice, I knew right away this is going to be one circuit that I have not a real chance of points. This is just more a track that I just have to accept finishing, or even like, if it's a good finish, maybe even like 11, anywhere from like 11 to 15. As you can see, we're battering the car there, and that will be probably a theme throughout the race, I expect. Possibly when I go into the pits, that to have some damage at some point. But as you can see, Korea managed to out-qualify us, which was no surprise really. We weren't really firing on all cylinders, but luckily no incidents of note. But we'll see how this goes, look forward to it, and we will go from there. It's not going to be easy for us, I'm fully prepared for that, but we just get on with it. But as you can see, we've had to sim forward to lap 5. The first, like, we basically had an absolute massacre at the start. Even though the footage was quite bad, we had literally safety car. It was crazy. We genuinely were in like carnage. Vettel even had to start very low down because he had a 10 grid penalty, so that was not ideal for him. So he's already back of the grids. We've been in the pits, and so pretty much for the first 5 laps has been like, was nothing. It was literally safety car, and just kind of like twiddling our thumbs. And so yeah, like if I'd shown the start of the race, it was just a mess, and even the footage when I looked over it all was just a mess. It was like, which was a shame really, but regardless, Lando Norris is out, and I'm not sure I think Verstappen's the second driver that's out if memory serves right, but we've had a fair bit of damage on the car. We had quite a bit of damage on the front wing, mainly because of what happened at the start. Everyone was getting warnings, and I'm sure there's been a few penalties given as well across the board, but I'll see once the race finishes what there's been given, because it was pretty chaotic at the start. But at the moment our pace isn't great for competing for points, but we're trying to push Perez a bit hard we can. We went a little bit aggressive there, a little bit more aggressive than I thought it was going to be. I think more because I thought as the opportunity presented itself, and in all honesty this is a track that I don't really feel confident to know when I should be saying when do I get these overtakes. And you can see right away Perez is as quick as we were right behind him, he's like back to like over a second and a half ahead of us, and like our biggest problem is we are cutting quite a lot of the corners quite a few times, so I will not be surprised if I end up with a exceed track limit at some point of this race. And like usually when it is a circuit you're not very confident or familiar with, it sometimes happens. Now, one element I probably need to work on a little bit is the ERS system. I don't use it very much, but what's interesting here is we have quite some damage on the track, but also there's a lot of contenders in front of us, so if we can kind of keep with them, that's kind of harder said than done obviously, but if we can kind of keep with them, there is half a chance of a decent finish. Like, I'm not expecting points, I am fully prepared for that. I know because of where we are just now, it's also quite a few drivers stayed out on the safety car, so like I made that mistake for obviously Bahrain. The AI's in essence done it this time in Vietnam, so it's kind of like role reversal this time. We got away with it, and as you can see we have gone up quite a few places. We suddenly went from being like 18th to suddenly on an outside chance of points, which was unexpected if I'm honest. Perez, Vettel, Ocon are still kind of ahead of us. I think there'll be a few other cars in, I think was it Raikkonen or whoever was, I'm trying to spot all the cars. The reason I think I said Bottas was because I've tried to work out what cars can I work out in front of me. Because I think Bottas was part of the initial like skirmish, if memory serves, but it was honest, I wish I'd got that first couple of laps of footage. It would have been so good. Even when I went through the replay footage in the end, it was still no better, which was a bit of a shame. But we've got DRS enabled, which for me ain't going to make a difference just now, but we're coming right back into the mix. This is going to be the theme. We're going to get right back into it, and then where are we going to overtake? Like for me, I can't see me overtaking. If I can even get into contention for points, then it's a miracle. But I get the feeling it's either going to be over aggressive, or I'm going to misjudge one of these bends and I'm going to absolutely smash this car to bits, because I'm absolutely all over the place. Teammates now in pit, so Correa's finally gone in, so we're going to make a few more places. Is points now realistic? Is this suddenly happening? I don't know. Could actually be. This is interesting. What on earth is going on? Has points become a realistic option that I would not expect? It is Bottas, so Bottas must have been, maybe he got a penalty. And I didn't realise it. But anyways, we get on, got DRS enabled, keeping an eye on our fuel, and as you can see all our setup, I'm going to have to plan out shortly between now and I would say Spain. We have to plan out when do we start to fit our next changes in? Because obviously the gearbox has to be done after 6 races, so I'd kind of like to do all that kind of work at the same time, if everything can survive. Obviously, if we wreck the car, say, then if we have like engine failure or whatever it may be, then fair enough. Oh, I was a bit worried there. I thought maybe the brakes might have locked just at the last second there, and I thought we'd end up in the back of Perez. It'd be us out and maybe Perez just for good measure. But I think Perez, going by the way we are driving, is going to be a bit of a rival. Because for what I've seen and what memory serves as well, in previous F1s, usually after about 3 or 4 races you do get offered a rival, and obviously that helps for like, obviously this year I would imagine it'll help for like acclaim and that kind of stuff. So I think Perez is looking like a realistic rival to face, if I'm honest. Like, he'll probably have the better of us here. Oh, clip at the back. I don't know if he'll have any damage, or we've luckily not had anything, but we're going to try and take him. We're actually going to try and take him here. We've been aggressive on the inside and it's paid off. He stayed out, got the spot that I didn't expect, but it's paid off. Bottas is still down in 10th. Who would have said the Mercedes, and Bottas has been driving very, very clinically for the first couple. Oh, took some damage, that is quite a bit of damage. That is quite a bit of damage. Oh dear. That was quite a bit. I don't know who would get the warning there. Did I get the warning? Like, I didn't get anything, so does he get the warning, or? Let me know, folks. Who made the mistake there? Was that me, or was that Perez? I should maybe try and get the replays properly and look at that a bit better in future. And we get an exceeding track limits, which I kind of expected because I've been kind of misjudging my corners. So coming at the final lap now. But yeah, Perez kind of blew us away in the end after a couple, like, he blew us away like the next lap, and it was kind of academic from there. It's just been literally a case of just get round the track. It's not been really eventful, it's just a case of just driving round, nursing the car. I think it's just been more a case of just nursing the car round, just get the race over and done with. It's not, last couple of laps have just not been eventful, and it's just a case of finish up, dust ourselves down, and get prepared for China. It's just been one of those races where it's a track, one, we don't know. We've had some decent damage to the car, but Magnussen is pushing hard on us. Right, this is safe to say for a final lap. It's getting interesting, and we want our place back. We want as high a finish as possible. We've went a bit over aggressive there in the end, backfired on us horribly. Magnussen gets his spot back, and there's no danger we'll get back because we haven't got really, not the ability, it's just more, see, we're doing more damage. Do the other side just for good measure. Oh dear, gotta get serious deductions here. Was expected in the end, and like everyone, Magnussen takes an improvement, but in the end, not to be a race for us. 14th, could have been a little bit better, maybe 13th, but not to be. The race was not for us. And Pierre Gasly was the driver of the day. Fair play to him, but Ferrari with Leclerc bagging the win. Ferrari certainly setting quite a high benchmark in this. With Leclerc, Vettel obviously with the grid penalty, so he must have obviously changed his gearbox, playing a big part in his final placings. And for a track like here, maybe it wasn't the best play, so who knows, maybe it was a bit over aggressive, whether it be a practice or a qualifying session, I don't know. But we'll take 14th in the end. outperforming Korea yet again. But obviously now the main focus is just dust ourselves down, get ready for China, which we have good history of in the past. But 3 different teams this time. Red Bull getting into the podium for their first time this season. So fair play to Leclerc from Hamilton, and then Max Verstappen. Definitely a bit of work for us to do. We'll have to look at the R&D, see what we can improve, and also look into the car in general. Might have to look at spending a bit of money. But as you can see, in the end, we were down in 14th, which was an improvement in the end actually on our first ever qualifying as well around the track. But as you can see, Stroll and Lafiti did not finish in the end, so they were out, and which one of those kind of races, it was pretty chaotic as I said at the start, so I'll go over the race director for you as well just to give you an idea. So it was pretty chaotic. We got a warning for a collision, but everyone else was getting warnings as well, and as you can see there's been some penalties given, stuff that obviously we must have not been able to see, and then obviously we get an exceeding track limits. But one of those races really which kind of shows that everyone was kind of there's a lot of people just not taking the hint, as it were. It's quite a chaotic race, but for a new track as well it can be expected. But we got on with it, and we'll dust ourselves down. As I say, we'll focus hard on trying to improve the car dramatically. So we've got an interview with, I think it's Claire her name is, I think, for what I understand. But for us, really, I am pretty satisfied with how we were. Obviously, it wasn't a very clean race, which was obviously to be expected, but we'll try and help the team where we can in individual elements. So obviously improve our aero, because that is what we want to improve on for tracks like Zandvoort, Catalonia, their type of tracks. Now, it says your acclaim is affected. The biggest thing I find is, I'll be honest, does it help it up or down? It should actually say that on the screen. I would quite like that. That's maybe a bit of feedback I'll give I'm not sure if that's been given as feedback at all. I'll have a look. But as I say, it wasn't a clean race, but as well, where necessary, I'll try and, if some of the questions I'm not as confident about an answer, I'd rather be no comment, because I'd be I don't want to kind of demoralise one department over another, or just kind of step back. But just to kind of wrap up as well, Team Acclaim looking a lot healthier as well, Korea. So we've got 395k of cash, so as I say, we'll go for a look, and we've got quite a bit of damage deductions, which was expected, so we're 70k, so I'm going to have a look at spending that up maybe over the next couple of races. Give me thoughts, as I said, in the comments down below, what we should maybe try and focus our efforts on even. So smash likes always folks, much appreciated. Apologies for what happened in the footage, and I'll catch you all later.